When you think about some of the college baseball coaching greats, you think of Ron Fraser, Jim Brock. There's a long list, Rod Dato, and then you think of the guys like Cliff Gustafson, was in that same tier of coaches, and all the coaches that he influenced, and one of which is we became friends when Sonny Golloway was the head baseball coach at Oklahoma. Deep resume, Oral Roberts, OU, Auburn. And baseball is still a significant part of his life. And Sonny, when you think of Coach Gus throughout your career, what stands out and how he influenced you, so to speak?
Well, first, thanks for having me on your podcast here and to be able to speak about Coach Gus, Sean. But, the thing that I look back on my career and I think about is how fortunate I was to go against the guys you just talked about. Coach Frazier in his last year, he's in Omaha. We're in Omaha in 92. And people don't even remember some of these guys today. And Coach Gus and what he did, and just the feeling I had as a young coach going into Austin. You're already in all the place. But then you look up and you see Coach Gus over there. And I don't know, man. When I heard of his passing, I mean, it was tough, just like it was, of course, with Coach Garrido. But Coach Gus, man, he was special. And again, you talk about coaching trees, and you've heard so much about Mike Leach and how he's influenced so much. Well, I mean, Coach Gus influenced me. And here I am on enemy lines wearing OU, and we all know about Texas OU. And Coach Gus is the first one. It was because of my relationship with Darren, right? Mm-hmm. Darren and I were really close. I got to know Coach Gus really well, being Darren's father. And the next thing you know, he's telling me, hey, you're going to be a great young head coach. Anything I can do to help you. And I'm like, Coach, if you've been on my resume, absolutely, Sonny. And here I am as a young guy, and I'm throwing out, Ron Polk, Cliff Gustafson, and Mike Martin. Why are these guys helping me? And let's not kid ourselves. I mean, it's who you know, Sean. It's world of who you know. So those guys opened doors. They allowed me to get a head coaching job, youngest head coach in the country. When I went to Oral Roberts, 32 years old, just wondering if I was going to win one game, right? But I knew I had guys like Coach Gus support me. And I could always pick up the phone. I could always ask him. I asked him to put us on his schedule, and he always did. And it was just an honor of honors to go to home plate and shake Cliff Gustafson's hand. And then go back to the dugout and think, oh, crap, I hope we're ready for this, right? I hope we're ready. But we had some good battles. We did. Us being Oral Roberts, we could throw it all out and just go after them. And we had some good memories and some good games because of that.
One thing that I remember, it just dawned on me, Enos Seymour, before you took over, it dawned on me. I was told this story. I didn't know it till I met Coach Seymour when I was up in Oklahoma City with you guys, that Coach Seymour and Coach Gus were very tight.
Very.
And he would come down here to Coach Gus's ranch, and then I think Coach Gus would go up there. I mean, what did you know about that relationship? And then, what did you take away from that? Because I did not know that until the last decade.
Well, I think they knew their role when they were on the diamond, right? And Coach Gus was exactly like that. I mean, the times I saw him away from the field, unbelievable. And the times I saw him on the field, very intimidating, right? And I think that with they call him the Big E, but Enos Seymour, I think that was Gus and Enos's relationship was, hey, we like to put on our boots. We like to go out. We got some horses. We got a ranch. And they both did, just on opposite sides of the Red River. And then when it was game time, they filled the role. I mean, they'd walk out the home plate like they were just ready to, to wrestle. And the fans wanted it, and they gave it to them. But, man, some unbelievable, games. Hey, I remember – I'll throw out one quick story before I forget it, because our Oral Roberts team went in. We were playing number 2 ranked Baylor when Steve Smith was really getting Baylor going. New stadium, getting a lot of kids. And we go in there. We're just Oral Roberts. We're going to play Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Well, we find out it's going to rain bad on Sunday. So we're going to play 1 on Friday and 2 on Saturday. We go in there and upset them and win Friday. We win the first game on Saturday.
Wow.
We get a 2-hour break between games, and they end up beating us in the last inning because we had our infield in, I remember. And they beat us on the last hit. And after the game, Steve came over and, he spoke. He goes, I've never done this before, Coach, but can I say something to your guys? Man, let me tell you what, you guys are really special for a mid-major. And we just took 2 out of 3 from number 2. Well, now we're going to Texas, and they're ranked 5th. Bo Hale, everybody in Texas knows Cliff's great. Bo Hale. Bo Hale had thrown Friday, in weekend series. We're there on a Tuesday because we went straight from Waco, off Monday, going to play Tuesday. Punt was their manager. There's a guy named Punt. Everybody, the Texas will remember Punt is a great manager for Texas-based Longhorn baseball. Punt runs over with the lineup and goes, Coach Gus wants to know if you want to switch. I said, yeah. And I said, hey, are you sure this is the right one? He goes, yeah. I said, this says Bo Hale's pitching today. He goes, oh, I know, Coach. He ain't messing around. He's rolling Bo out. Bo Hale went out and threw 8 innings against us. I promise you, we lose 3-2. We lose 3-2. I remember, John Bible, a great umpire, and Christie, who still does the football games, they were umpiring it, and they couldn't believe it. I mean, it's a tremendous battle, but we lost the game 3-2. And I remember right there thinking, man, Coach isn't playing around. He's rolling out his number 1 because he knows what we just did at Waco, right? And he got us 3-2, but I was happy to go home after a 4-game trip. I was happy to go home 2-2. Trust me. I remember saying, Punt, this can't be right. This kid just threw on Friday. But, and everybody wants to criticize coaches for saying, hey, we're throwing these guys too much. Hey, Coach Gus was from the old school. Don't tell him about that stuff. I mean, he talks about Satchel Paige and those old timers threw 150 pitches in a game. I don't want to hear about it, right? So he was old school and he wanted to win, and he knew how to do just that.
Man, that is so true about his top guns. The number 1, he threw those guys until their arm fell off. Which I understand. You were right, old school. Our society now frowns upon that for some reason, but that's a whole nother topic.
It is. Well, that's starting at Major League Baseball and down. I mean, we don't have any major leaguers that are ever going to have a complete game unless it's no-hitter, right?
Yeah.
So we know that. But then they can go out and throw a no-hitter and go over 100 pitches and be fine. But it is what it is today. But that's what I love about Coach Gus. I mean, he was built to old school fiber. He was old school. And, I mean, he's a legend. And I'm honored to have ever been on the baseball field with him.
That's a beautiful thing. I know he would probably have quite a few positive things to say about you. And I guess before we wrap up, I got to ask you this. When you see older, middle-aged like us, and then younger, even the younger generation, all the tributes for Coach Gus. I mean, I love different tributes. I love hearing stories. But when you see all ages, men and women alike, what are your thoughts on when all the feedback and maybe stories or posts, as we live in a social media world, all about Coach Gus now?
It's simple. I mean, it's how you influence people's lives. I had a love for baseball. I've always had a love for baseball. And meeting Coach Gus, competing against Coach Gus, and then Coach Gus, taking me under his wing, even though I never coached for him, I came from his coaching tree. He made me love it even more because of the kind of person he was. And I know you could go from Swindell, you go to Clemens, you go to any of those guys, Spike. They're going to tell you the same thing. I've heard the funny stories about in the fall, him having his tea in his chair and they just do nothing but scrimmage, right? Hey, Coach Gus got it. You get better by playing the game. That's how you get better. And I think, it makes me feel good because I reflect on him. And he touched so many people. He influenced so many people. And he's going to live on with those people. He's going to live on with me. He's going to live on with a lot of people. And, I see all this about Coach Leach and had the chance, of course, being at Oklahoma. And Coach Leach was at Oklahoma. And, hey, let's not 1 second not think that Coach Gus didn't touch as many, if not more, in his respective sport because he did. He absolutely did.
That there's no doubt about it, man. And hearing your perspective on it, being a long-time college baseball coach with a good career, it just adds to it, another layer to it. We talked to spoke to Schiraldi, Swindell, and Ty Harrington yesterday, and it said all the same things, but in a different way. And
yeah,
Coach, man, I'm glad we had a reunion here, and we'll do it again. And I don't know, but I do know. I can tell that I know Coach Gus. You're part of the umbrella that he cast. That a special part of the baseball family, because that is something I've learned about. The baseball family is a pretty strong group.
Well, and that should be a testimony to Coach Gus. You see the Sooner jersey hanging behind me here with the College World Series, and we did have to go through Austin to win a national championship back in '94.
That's right.
Just like you spoke about Ty and Swindell and Schiraldi, and those guys are friends of mine, and to be rivals across this Red River, but be friends, and that's because of Coach Gus. He taught everybody how to give it everything on the field, and when you're off the field, hey, we're baseball brothers. And there's not enough of that teaching going on, that old school. And I'm going to miss him. I know everybody listening in is going to miss him, but hey, he's going to live on forever, especially in Longhorn baseball history.
100%. And we can only hope that we had that opportunity to live to 91.
That's it.
Like Coach Gus, and he's living life right. Coach Golloway, pleasure to call you a friend, and I'm glad we connected in Oklahoma, and hope to see you soon.
Absolutely. Hey, and thanks so much, Sean, for letting me have a moment to speak of legendary Coach Gus.
Hey, it's only fitting. It would be a big hole in my week if you weren't a part of this.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
We'll see you, buddy. And to Coach Gus, this is another tribute for him and for the OG Man Cave boys, that being Harbaugh Harge, Big Mike, and Coach Mo. We out.